Hello, welcome back to our series on lessons from Exodus. Today is the last episode in the series. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Exodus is not a small book that you can cover in a few sessions. To do justice to this book, which has many facets, I had to take all this time. You must have also realized by now that I've skipped a lot of details. This study was never meant to be an exegesis on the book of Exodus. Rather, it is more inspirational in nature. I would love to read your reactions to this teaching. How has the series helped you? What were some of the challenges and roadblocks to your spiritual life that you found the series to have helped you? Please post your reactions in the comments section under this video. Your comments can help me create useful contents in future. If you're interested in a more in-depth study, I currently have 3 topics on my website called BP Academy, where you can study them in detail. The 3 subjects covered are: number 1, discovering the Father heart of God. This teaching is simple and profound. It brings emotional healing to our father and mother wounds that can block our deep connection with God. When you discover how passionately God the Father loves you, and how His love can bring such stability and security to your soul, you will no longer run around looking for love in all the wrong places. This series has 10 lessons. I have experienced profound emotional healing from this teaching. Once you know at the core level that you're loved by God, no matter who you are, where you come from, and what you did, your life will be established on an immovable foundation. Your identity will be confirmed to you. You can face the world with confidence. This teaching is available inside BP Academy. The link is given in the description under this video. Number 2, set my people free. This is a spiritual encounter series. It helps you get free from your past issues that are still clinging to you. In this series, we deal with both sins and curses coming from your past actions and also those coming down your generational line. It is a 14-day series if you do 1 lesson per day. Or you could do 1 lesson a week. It's entirely up to you. This teaching has been in use now for at least 2 decades. I have seen so many lives changed and 1 marriage healed as well. Some people with chronic health issues have also been healed. Earlier this year, a Christian for 4 years who had experienced a lot of freedom before coming to my class was still struggling from alcohol addiction. Set My People Free has helped him overcome this issue. We know a couple who are farmers. Since applying principles from this teaching, they have seen a bountiful harvest of their crops. Before knowing about this teaching, they were struggling to make ends meet. It is hard to say how one will be helped by this teaching. We have yet to encounter someone who was not helped one way or another. By the way, if you are a pastor of a church, this should get your attention. Since we started teaching the subject in Thailand, we have watched the percentage of backsliding among new Christians slashed by double digits. Go to my website, BP Academy, and check it out. The link is given in the description under this video. Number 3, there's also a study on the book of Hebrews. This one is the most relevant to this series on the book of Exodus that we have been covering. It will help you see the transition from the Old Testament to the New Testament. There's so much symbolism in the Old Testament that one can become lost trying to find their way through it. This teaching will help simplify what you read in the Old Testament and at the same time unlock your spiritual growth. If you have been avoiding reading the Old Testament because it seems complex or irrelevant, this study on Hebrews will help open up your understanding. One cannot become a mature Christian without a good grasp of both the Old Testament and the New Testament. You can check out this teaching also inside BP Academy. The link is given in the description under this video. We have learned so much from the book of Exodus. Let me give you a quick summary of this book, in case you have not finished watching the series. This summary might help you get motivated to watch what you might have missed. Exodus starts where Genesis ends. God moved Jacob's family from the land of Canaan to Egypt. Joseph was the second ruler there. He took care of his father's family till he died. Another Pharaoh arose who did not know Joseph. He looked at the fast multiplying nation of Israel as a threat. So he turned them into slaves and started killing off their baby boys at birth. This was the first systematic genocide of the Jewish race. Moses was born during this time. He had a divine call on his life to bring Israel out of slavery in Egypt and take them to the promised land to fulfill God's promise to their forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At the end of those years, God took Moses for a special training in the wilderness in Midian for 40 years. At the end of those years, God commissioned Moses to go back and fulfill the call that he had placed on his life. That led to a confrontation between Moses and Pharaoh. Pharaoh was determined to keep Israel as slaves. God, through Moses and his brother Aaron, brought 10 plagues on Egypt, at the end of which Pharaoh let the children of Israel go free. The children of Israel were instructed to ask for any precious thing they desired from their Egyptian neighbors on their way out of Egypt. Thus, they justifiably plundered the Egyptians of their wealth in payment for their hundreds of years of slave labor to the Egyptians. God instituted the first Passover to commemorate the final judgment on Egypt, the killing of their firstborn sons, and the people of Israel's freedom from slavery. Moses led a vast population of Israel through the wilderness to the Red Sea when Pharaoh had a change of heart and pursued Israel to get them back to serve them as slaves. God parted the Red Sea for Israel to cross over. The Egyptian army tried to follow them, but they were drowned in the Red Sea. By doing so, God neutralized Pharaoh's threat to Israel permanently. Moses led the children of Israel through the wilderness to Mount Horeb, which is also called Mount Sinai. This is where Moses had his first encounter with God, where he received the commission to go back to Egypt and bring the children of Israel out. God wanted to make a covenant with Israel at this mountain. God came down on this mountain in a very powerful way. The mountain was set on fire. There was thick smoke covering the mountain like a furnace. There was thunder, lightning, earthquakes. There was a loud trumpet blast by an angel announcing God's arrival. Then God spoke to all Israel and gave them the 10 Commandments. The Israelites got scared to death. They asked Moses to go and hear God alone and come to tell them what God wanted. Their fearful response to God created a further distance between them and God. In the meantime, Moses and God became close friends. While Moses was on the mountaintop with God, the children of Israel lost their patience and asked Aaron to make them an idol to lead them to the promised land. Aaron took some of their gold and formed a golden calf out of it. People started to worship it and followed it with a wild party. God knew what was happening and said to Moses that he was angry with them and wanted to kill them all and start a new nation with Moses. Moses pleaded with God not to do so, to protect God's reputation and to keep God's promise given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God listened to Moses and spared the Israelites. Moses went down the mountain to the camp and found people worshiping the golden calf and getting out of control. He smashed the 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments that God had given him. Then he smashed the idol, the golden calf, and ordered the Levites to go from 10 to 10 and kill those who were engaging in sexual immorality. After some days, God asked Moses to go up and meet God again, and he would give him another set of 2 tablets of stone with the 10 Commandments inscribed on them. While Moses was up there for 40 days, God showed Moses his glory and renewed his covenant with Moses and Israel. God also showed Moses the pattern of the tabernacle that he wanted the children of Israel to make for him to dwell with them. This would be a place where people could see God and God would be worshipped. People donated everything that was needed for the tabernacle, for its service, for its priests, They gave much more than needed. Craftsmen who were called and specially gifted by God came and finished making the tabernacle and every article that was needed, including the garments for the priests. Everything was done exactly as God had shown Moses on the mountaintop. This is where the book of Exodus ends. The tabernacle was fully finished as per the pattern God showed Moses. It was erected and the glory of God filled it. This is the beginning of the old covenant God made with Israel. The tabernacle was central to this covenant. God wanted a place to dwell with his people. The 10 Commandments became the basis for all the laws to follow. They served as a moral guide to how God's people were expected to behave so that God could bless them and continue to live among them. This would set them apart from all the nations of the world. So this is just a quick summary. I encourage you to go through the series chronologically. If you have enjoyed the series, please don't forget to like and share this video. Just in case you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel 3 John 2, please go ahead and do it right now. Each time I post a new video, you will be notified. That way you won't miss anything that will bless you. Don't forget to check the playlist on my YouTube channel. I have several other series that will help you in your spiritual growth. Also, do visit my website BP Academy and check out those 3 teachings I mentioned at the beginning of this video. I shall see you in the next series I plan to start soon. I post a new video every week, so don't miss out. God bless you.